When Zara Ellison was 18, her parents pressed a wrinkled $20 bill into her hand and told her, almost calmly, "Your sister deserves the future more than you." There was no whisper, no hesitation, just a verdict delivered in the rain. Her father's voice was cutting steel, her mother's hand cold as she closed the door behind Zara, leaving her on the porch with a single suitcase. The light above her flickered as if even it wanted nothing to do with her. 5 years later, that same light would flicker again, but she would no longer be the girl waiting outside. Their house in Ridgemont always smelled like lemon cleaner and engine oil, her mother's obsession with perfection and her father's obsession with control. Outsiders thought they were normal, but inside, the family lived by a quiet hierarchy, Nora on the throne, Zara somewhere below the fold. Her father, Marcus Ellison, ran a small repair shop, believing sweat proved worth. Her mother, Elise, kept the books and her emotions in perfect order. And Nora, their miracle child, shone with a confidence the whole house bent toward. Zara often felt like the folding chair at the dinner table, useful, but easy to pack away. At 16, Nora received a used sedan with a red bow like a coronation crown. Zara got a bookstore gift card. "You love reading," her mother said gently. Zara smiled, pretending the words didn't sting. But the day the university envelope arrived, with its blue seal and the word congratulations, she dared to hope the script might finally change. She stood in the kitchen that evening, holding the letter like it might prove she mattered. "I got into Crestwood University," she said softly. "They gave me a scholarship." Her voice trembled with hope she didn't want anyone to see. Her father didn't even lift his eyes from the newspaper. "We can't pay for 2 tuitions," he said flatly. Her mother whispered, "Nora's pre-law program already stretches us. You need to be realistic." The word realistic sliced through her. "I've worked for this," Zara insisted. "I can cover most of it." Her father set the paper down. "Then cover all of it. You're 18. Time to be independent." Nora, scrolling her phone, muttered, "She's overreacting." That was the spark. "After years of swallowing silence," Zara finally said, "you've never even asked what I want." The table froze. Her mother's hand trembled before she reached into her purse and pressed a single 20 into Zara's palm. "Be independent," she murmured. Her father never looked up again. That night, Zara packed her suitcase, one bag, a few notebooks, her acceptance letter folded with painful care. Rain had started by the time she stepped outside. Nora stood behind the window, her reflection blurred by droplets, her face unreadable. She didn't wave. The front door clicked shut behind Zara, a punctuation mark on 18 years of being unheard. Thunder rolled like her name was being swallowed. Her first night alone, she sat on a slick bus stop bench, coughing, soaked, shivering. The 20 felt smaller with every passing car that splashed her feet. She kept staring at her acceptance letter, the ink blurring with rain, whispering to herself, "I'll find a way." But by midnight, she didn't even have an address to write on job forms. By the third night, fever crawled through her bones. A man's voice broke through the traffic hum. "Hey, are you all right?" A kind-eyed truck driver named Daniel Rhodes knelt beside her. Without hesitation, he gave her his jacket and called for help. Hospital lights felt too clean, too bright. A nurse clipped a wristband on her reading. Name, Zara Ellison. Address, unknown. The word hit harder than the pneumonia. When she woke, there was a styrofoam cup of orange juice beside her and a folded 20 underneath it. "The man who brought you left that," the nurse said. "Said you'd need it more than he does." 2 days later, still weak, she was discharged with nothing but a thin pamphlet for Harbor Haven Women's Shelter. The building sat between a pawn shop and a laundromat, peeling paint, flickering sign, warm lights inside. The woman who ran the shelter, Ruth Nolan, met her at the door with steady eyes. "You get one bed, one lock, one chance. No judgment. Just rules," she said. Zara nodded, grateful for even the smallest structure. She cleaned bathrooms, folded sheets, swept hallways. Her hands cracked from bleach, but for the first time, the work felt like proof she still existed. The women called her the quiet one. She spent nights collecting job flyers, saving food vouchers, and watching the world rebuild itself piece by piece in her mind, like a puzzle she was finally allowed to solve. One afternoon, Ruth pinned a handwritten flyer to the board. "Help wanted, Alvarez Diner, 5th and Pine." Most people would ignore a note like that, but something in Zara stirred. "Maybe this is the start," she whispered. The next morning, wearing borrowed shoes, she walked to the diner. The air smelled of burnt toast and strong coffee. Behind the counter stood Elena Alvarez, sleeves rolled up, posture brisk. Elena glanced at her coat and the faded hospital band still faint on her wrist. "You ever wait tables?" she asked. Zara shook her head. "No. But I learn fast." Elena tossed her an apron. "Start with the syrup bottles. If you last the week, I'll pay you." That was all the welcome Zara needed. As she wiped counters that night, rain tapping the windows, she realized silence didn't always mean defeat. Sometimes it sounded like rebuilding. Days bled together, greasy mornings, hissing coffee machines, aching feet. But exhaustion felt clean. Hers. Elena corrected her without softness. Customers noticed details. Yet there was something respectful in her eyes, something that grew stronger each time Zara anticipated a task before being told. Slowly, she memorized patterns. The diner became rush her classroom. Supply shortages, which orders clogged the kitchen. She filled a cheap notebook with scribbles about inventory, schedules, and flow. When the delivery driver, Ben Carter, arrived late one morning, she helped unload crates. "You always sort things like this?" he asked. "Makes it easier later," she said. Ben smiled. "You've got a mind for systems." It was the first compliment that didn't feel like charity. That night, she stayed after closing, sketching a better delivery schedule on napkins. Elena found the drawings the next morning, studied them quietly, then tucked them into her apron. "Keep thinking like that," Elena said. "The world may run on chaos, but people like you keep it moving." Months passed. Zara used the shelter's old computer to build spreadsheets, tracking supplies, mapping delivery routes, fixing inefficiencies no one else noticed. When Ben's truck broke down, she rearranged deliveries over the phone. Everything arrived on time. "You're a walking GPS," Ben teased. She laughed, realizing she wasn't just surviving, she was designing the architecture of her future. When Everline Freight posted a clerk opening, Ben brought her the flyer himself. "Apply," he insisted. "You're ready." Zara hesitated. "They won't hire me. No degree." Ben folded his arms. "Try anyway." So she printed a resume that smelled faintly of diner coffee. Tom Whitaker, the hiring manager, asked simple questions about communication and problem-solving. She answered honestly, no embellishments. After a long pause, he said, "You don't have a degree, but you have instinct. We can build on instinct." That sentence shifted everything. At Everline, she finally felt what structure and control looked like from the inside. Within a year, she was rewriting systems, fixing inefficiencies, streamlining routes, building networks from the ground up. It took 5 years to turn a diner notebook into an empire. Ellison Operations Group began as a borrowed desk above a print shop. Just Zara, a second-hand laptop, and her stubborn resolve. Every invoice, every phone call, every sleepless night became a brick in the wall between who she was and who she wanted to be. By 23, that wall overlooked the Seattle skyline. Her company helped small businesses run efficiently, fairly, and transparently. On her office wall, she hung only 3 things: the hospital wristband labeled unknown address, the wrinkled 20, and the belief that being forgotten had cost her everything, and built her more. One morning, her HR manager, Maya, stepped in with a tablet. "New applicant for the operations coordinator role," she said. "Strong background in PR logistics." She paused, frowning. "Her name is Nora Ellison." Zara's breath stilled. The air felt heavier. She didn't look up. "Schedule her for Tuesday." On Tuesday, rain tapped steadily against the office windows, soft as memory. Zara arrived early, stared at the framed 20 on her wall, its faded ink still sharp in her mind. At 9 exactly, Maya knocked. "She's here." Zara exhaled once. "Send her in." The click of heels brought back a hallway in Ridgemont, a younger Nora striding past, basking in applause Zara never received. When the door opened, Nora stepped inside, elegant, composed, hair pinned the way their mother used to do it. "Good morning," she said politely. Zara answered, "Morning. Have a seat." Nora didn't recognize her. Not yet. Maya made introductions. This is Miss Zara Ellison, founder and CEO. Nora blinked. Her hand trembled slightly as she whispered, Ellison. Zara gestured calmly. Let's begin. Nora started discussing her experience, her voice steady but rehearsed. Zara listened, letting silence stretch until Nora shifted in discomfort. Then she asked, Tell me about a time you handled conflict. Nora hesitated. At my last job, there was a dispute. I had to make sure everyone got what they deserved. Zara leaned forward. Fairness, she repeated. Interesting word. What does it mean to you? Nora swallowed. It means everyone has the same chance. Everyone? Zara pressed. Yes. The word hung fragile in the room. Nora's eyes drifted to the wall behind Zara, the wristband, the 20. Recognition slammed into her. Zara, she whispered, voice cracking. We're discussing your qualifications, Zara replied evenly. Nora's eyes filled. We thought you didn't make it. I almost didn't, Zara said softly. Nora began shaking. Mom and Dad regret everything. Zara looked at her, seeing every old hierarchy, the ribboned car, the folding chair, the silence. They made choices, she said. And so did you. Nora whispered. I didn't stop them. Zara answered. You didn't have to. Silence is its own decision. Nora's voice broke. Are you going to hire me? Zara looked at her resume. That depends. Can you follow leadership that values fairness over favoritism? Nora nodded. I can try. Good, Zara said. Because fairness is the only thing we build here. After Nora left, Maya re-entered. Your thoughts? Zara stared at the rain streaking the glass, so close to the rain that once soaked her at a bus stop bench. Give her the position, Zara said. Maya blinked. You're sure? Zara whispered. Everyone deserves a chance. Even the ones who denied you yours. That evening, alone in her office, she touched the framed 20. They gave me a closed door, she murmured. I built an open one. The next morning, sunlight broke through the clouds, turning the windows into shimmering gold. Nora arrived early for her first day, notebook in hand instead of pride. Thank you, she said softly. Zara nodded. Earn it. Throughout the day, she watched Nora work, quiet, deliberate, unsure, but trying. Not forgiveness, but release unfurled inside her. That weekend, Zara drove back to Ridgemont, leaving a bouquet and the framed 20 on the old bus stop bench. This is where they ended me, she whispered, and where I began. She walked away as dawn broke, thinking, everyone deserves a future, even the ones told they don't.